up, marketers? How do you train video editors to make creative that converts on Meta ads? Not too long ago, I actually worked at an advertising agency where I oversaw the entire creative team. So creative strategists, graphic designers, illustrators, and yes, video editors. Now, a huge part of this role was taking video editors that worked on TV commercials, documentary films, and tutorials, and training them to think more like creative strategists for paid social, and teaching them tactics and editing tricks that helped improve performance on video ads. So in this video, we're gonna go over the 10 tips and tricks to make you a better video editor for Meta ad creative. Number one, the green screen effect. This works great as a hook. In fact, when I am testing out a new batch of creator content, I will often do one green screen hook, one TikTok response hook, and then at least one normal hook. For Meta ad creative, there is a ton of different ways that you can do this. Here are some of my favorites that almost always increases performance. Number one, doing a green screen over your website or even your product page. Number two, just going over regular B-roll or even just product shots. My expert tip here is to look for these types of texture videos and images on Storyblocks. I use it a ton for that. You can also use it over old ads, especially ads that had really great performance. I've seen this done on both videos and images. This is a great iteration to try. Also, come here, I want to show you one less ad creative. According to Foreplay, this one actually ran for 2 months, and the reason why I love it is because these images are crap. But that almost makes it better, and I think it's a really great example of how you can use the green screen effect to simulate a different type of setting without actually having to send a creator to a gym or another location. Now, number two is to use B-roll. And before you click out of this video, I know this one seems super obvious, but I have a secret tip here that I think everyone should hear, and I've never actually heard anyone else say this. Now, B-roll is like liquid gold, especially for creator content. The more of it that you have, the more opportunities you have for winning ad creative. Of course, we always want to try and get amazing B-roll clips from creators, but that's not always possible. That's why I was thrilled to partner with Storyblocks in this video. If I can't find the right creator content, I simply use something from Storyblocks, which I think is the best platform on the market to actually pair with UGC. They have a curated content library that has everything you need to create high quality video ads for Meta in just one place, with over 1 million 4K and HD footage, templates, music, sound effects, images, and more. And they're constantly adding new clips, so you're always gonna have something new to test with your ad creative. The best thing is anything that you download with Storyblocks is 100% royalty free, even for ad creative. And you don't have to plan a huge video shoot, fumble with AI solutions, or hire a creator to get the content you need. You can just search for it instantly on Storyblocks. To get started with unlimited stock media downloads at one set price, head to storyblocks.com/daradeni or click the link in the description. And let me know what you think. Sometimes I just like to scroll around there, and it's been great for giving me inspiration. And now here's my expert tip for B-roll. Request dynamic B-roll when you can, and also be on the lookout for this type of content on Storyblocks. This means to get B-roll that shows your subject in a wide variety of angles. Show your subject far away, up close, too close, from the selfie angle, top down, down up, and also get a little creative here. The reality is that the more variety you have in your B-roll and your ad creative, the more engaging your ad is going to be overall, and the more fun you can have. Number three, faster pacing. This is actually one of the biggest lessons I had to teach video editors that were coming from another industry, because on paid social, you have to be incredibly fast paced, way quicker than nearly any other type of video editing. Now, sure, you can create faster pacing by just using B-roll clips, which is why you want a lot of them, but I also love this example by creator Claudia Walsh. This shows a really quick and simple way that you can add faster pacing to really mundane clips. I actually showed this creator to my team last year and created an entire lesson about it because I thought it was so impactful. Every single clip here is like 0.5 seconds or less, and this is something that any video editor can do. Number four is the split screen. The split screen is one of my super easy hacks to automatically increasing those hook rates. You can pair creator content with a product shot. You can show a before and after. Or again, just like the green screen option, you can pair it with something more oddly satisfying. I've also seen these type of grid style ads crush it lately. Definitely something to try. Number five, let's get technical. J cuts and L cuts. If you're not a video editor, you're like, what the heck is this? So these are technical video editing terms that I actually just don't see the advertising industry talking about too much. But I think that they are super useful for increasing engagement and watch time on ads. Let's keep this really simple. A J-cut is an editing technique where you can actually hear the sound of the scene that's going to come next before you actually see it. And they call it a J-cut just because that's what it actually looks like on the timeline. Here's a really good example of a J-cut in action in a feature film.
That's all it is. They're like the police department for wise guys.
Now, an L-cut is essentially the inverse of this. The audio from the previous scene continues into the next scene. And here's an example of that.
I figured he's from Baltimore, and I looked in the phone book, and there's a yourself storage facility right outside of downtown Baltimore, sir.
Now, I found this breakdown on what this looks like and when to use it from Google. Thank God for Google. I thought it was really useful. So why is this important for ad creative, right? Yes, this is a fundamental video editing technique, but I've also seen it produce really great creative. And I'd say most people don't even know that it's happening, but it's definitely something to test out a little bit. And number 6 is my big disclaimer on font usage. Seriously, if you're a video editor and a brand tells you to use brand fonts in UGC style creative, tell them I said no. This just screams ad. So my top recommendation is to use native fonts from TikTok and Instagram stories like this. These are the names of the exact fonts that you should be using. For TikTok, this is Proxima Nova Semi-Bold. And for stories, this is San Francisco font. It's likely a custom-made font, but you can also download it. And number 7 is to design with the sound on. So use sound effects. And yes, this is for 2025. So design for the sound off used to be a best practice, but now it is not. Instagram actually recently launched a stat that showed that 70% of people watching Reels are doing so with the sound on. So be sure to add sound effects for emphasis in your ad creative. Don't go overboard, but here are a few that are my favorites. And number 2, a very simple editing technique, but useful also in ad creative, is how to zoom in. And there's 2 major ways that you can do this, right? You can zoom in through a hard cut, zoom in, okay, great. But you could also do the slow zoom in like this. Both of these are super easy to use and can really help increase that engagement within the video ad creative. And number 9, don't neglect overlays. Honestly, a good overlay can really make or break your ad performance, especially in the hook. This is probably the one that has the most performance potential, which is the TikTok response overlay. But you could also show a picture of another ad. You could also show some press that the brand was in, or you can just simply add stickers. The more native, the better. And I know that this might seem really dumb, but to be honest, I've actually run tests with ad creative recently that had stickers and ones that didn't. And the ones that had stickers tend to perform better. Great thing is too, these are wildly easy to do in CapCut or any other video editing software. And number 10 is the double person effect. Disclaimer on this one though, you're going to need to coordinate really well with a creator to get it done because they're gonna have to film this in a certain way so that it comes out properly. I learned this technique from Jara Bean's video editing rodeo course, and honestly, it's like one of my favorite editing hacks that I've learned within the last year. And the cool thing is, I've tested it out on some ad creative recently. It works really well, especially in the hook, but I have barely seen other brands do this yet. I think because it's a little complicated, but once you see how it's done, you'll see how easy it is. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching towards the end of this video. Be sure to leave this video a like, a comment, and subscribe. Those things really, really help me out as a creator. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.